Close your eyes and allow the world around you to slowly soften. Let the edges of the day blur and fade, as if they were gently dissolving into the quiet of night. You have arrived at a place of rest, a space where nothing is required of you and nowhere you need to go. Tonight you are invited on a journey, far beyond the familiar rhythms of Earth, far beyond the warmth of our sun, into the deep and ancient darkness of the universe itself. In this journey, we will explore Erendel, the most distant star ever observed by human eyes, a single point of light, suspended at the edge of time, carrying a story that began billions of years ago. Erendel is not merely a star, it is a whisper from the early universe, a reminder that even across unimaginable distances, light still finds a way to reach us. As you listen, you don't need to understand every detail or hold on to every image. Simply let the words wash over you, like slow-moving waves of starlight. If you enjoy these journeys through science, space, and sleep, you are warmly invited to support the channel by subscribing and returning whenever you need rest. Your presence here already means more than you know. Now, gently allow your breathing to slow. Feel the surface beneath you supporting your body completely. Let your shoulders sink, your jaw soften, your thoughts loosen their grip. You may imagine the lights around you dimming, as if the universe itself were turning down its brightness, preparing for rest. Very soon, the familiar world will drift away, and the journey will begin. And now, the journey is about to begin. Far from Earth, far beyond the spiral arms of our galaxy, there exists a point of light so distant that its name feels almost unreal. Erendel, a star whose light began its journey toward us when the universe itself was young, when galaxies were still forming their first shapes, and time moved differently than it does now. To see Erendel is not to look across space alone, but to look backward into a past so deep it feels like a dream. Imagine drifting away from Earth, slowly and effortlessly. The planet grows quiet beneath you, its blues and greens fading into darkness. The moon passes silently by, then the outer planets, then the distant halo of our solar system. There is no sensation of speed, no wind, no sound, only a gentle forward motion, as if the universe itself were carrying you in its arms. As you move farther, stars begin to thin, the familiar constellations unravel, their patterns stretching and dissolving. Distance becomes difficult to measure. Numbers lose their meaning. Light years no longer feel like units of travel, but like breaths taken by the cosmos, slow, patient, and vast. Erendel waits at the edge of what can be seen. Its light is ancient, fragile, and persistent. For billions of years, it has crossed expanding space, slipping between galaxies, passing through regions of darkness, so complete they seem to absorb thought itself. And yet, the light continues, not hurried, not forced, simply moving, because that is what light does. You may imagine Erendel as a tiny ember, glowing softly against an endless night. It does not flicker with urgency. It does not demand attention. It exists, quietly, steadily, unaware of observers, unaware of names. In its own time it burns, following the simple, universal rhythm of stars. As you drift closer, the vastness around you becomes strangely comforting. There is nothing to avoid, nothing to prepare for. Space here is gentle. It does not press in. It opens. The silence is complete, but not empty. It is filled with history, with the memory of motion, with the calm persistence of existence itself. To be here, near Erendel, is to feel small in the most peaceful way. Your thoughts begin to slow, as if they too are stretched across cosmic distances. Concerns from the day seem impossibly far away, belonging to another universe entirely. What remains is awareness without effort, presence without weight. Erendel does not shine for you, and yet its light reaches you. It does not know your name, and yet it welcomes your gaze. In this moment, you are simply sharing the same universe, connected by a thread of ancient fire that has never once stopped moving. Rest here for a while. Let the distance soothe you. Let the age of the light remind you that there is no hurry. Everything unfolds in its own time. And as Erendel continues its quiet burning at the edge of time, you may begin to feel yourself drifting even deeper into calm, carried gently by the endless night. The light from Erendel begins its journey long before there is an earth to receive it, long before there are eyes to notice its arrival. When this light is born, the universe itself is still learning how to expand, still stretching into its own vastness. Space is denser then, closer, warmer in a quiet, unfamiliar way. And from within that young cosmos, Erendel releases its glow, unaware that it will travel longer than almost any light we have ever seen. Imagine that light leaving the surface of the star, not as a beam or a flash, but as a gentle release, like a slow exhale. It moves outward in all directions, touching nothing at first, passing into darkness that feels endless and calm. There is no sound, no resistance, only motion guided by the shape of space itself. As the light travels, billions of years begin to pass. But here, time does not rush. It stretches, it softens. Entire galaxies are born and drift apart, while the light is still on its way. Stars ignite and fade. Worlds form, change, and disappear. The light does not hurry to keep up. It simply continues, steady and patient, carrying the quiet memory of its origin. You may imagine yourself drifting alongside this ancient light, moving at the same gentle pace. There is no sense of distance now, no destination that needs to be reached. Each moment blends into the next. Past and present lose their sharp edges. Time becomes something you float within, rather than something that moves forward. The light passes through regions where galaxies cluster together, bending space with their gravity. It curves slightly, adjusting its path, as if guided by invisible hands. These gentle bends are not obstacles. They are embraces, the universe shaping the journey, slowly and carefully. Between these clusters, there are vast stretches of near-perfect darkness. Here, there are no stars close enough to be seen, no landmarks to mark progress. And yet, this darkness is not lonely. It is deeply restful, a place where nothing demands attention, where the mind can release its need to track, measure, or understand. As you travel, the idea of billions of years begins to lose its weight. Such numbers belong to waking thought. Here, time feels like a long, continuous breath. Inhale, exhale, the universe expanding and relaxing around you. The light moves within this breath, neither early nor late. Eventually, far ahead, something begins to change. Space grows slightly different, denser, more familiar. The universe has aged. Galaxies are larger now, more defined. Among them, a small spiral begins to form, quietly assembling itself from clouds of gas and dust. This is the galaxy that will one day be called home. The light does not know this. It does not anticipate arrival. It does not prepare. It simply continues, being what it has always been: motion, memory, presence. And as that ancient light draws closer to its distant future, you may feel your own awareness growing softer, slower, as if you too have been traveling for a very long time. Thoughts fade like passing stars. Effort dissolves. There is nothing to hold on to, and nothing to let go of. You are suspended in the journey itself, wrapped in the calm persistence of light that never rushes, never hesitates, and never forgets how to move forward through the dark. Long before Erendel began to shine, the universe was a quieter place, not silent, but hushed, as if it were holding its breath. Vast clouds of hydrogen drifted through space, untouched by the heavier elements that would come later. There was simplicity here, and patience. Nothing yet rushed to become more than it was. Within one of these immense clouds, gravity began its slow work. It did not announce itself. It did not pull suddenly or violently. It simply leaned inward, gently gathering matter, encouraging particles to move closer together. Over countless ages, the cloud grew denser, warmer, more focused. This was the beginning of Erendel, though no name yet existed for it. You may imagine this process not as an explosion, but as a quiet settling, like dust drifting toward the floor in a sunlit room. The gas responded to gravity's invitation. The center warmed gradually, pressure increasing with calm inevitability. There was no hurry. The universe had time. As the cloud continued to contract, a balance slowly formed between inward pull and outward pressure. Deep within, temperatures climbed high enough for something extraordinary to begin. Hydrogen atoms, pressed together by gravity's steady embrace, began to merge. In that moment, the first true light of Erendel was born. This ignition was not a sudden blaze. It was a soft awakening, a realization. Energy flowed outward, meeting the surrounding layers of gas, warming them, supporting them. The star had found its rhythm. Gravity pulled inward, energy pressed outward. Between these two forces, Erendel settled into a long, luminous life. Around it, the universe was still young. Galaxies were smaller, less structured, their shapes irregular and fluid. There were fewer heavy elements, fewer planets, fewer familiar patterns. Yet within this simplicity, stars like Erendel burned with remarkable intensity, fueled by nearly pure hydrogen and immense mass. You may imagine Erendel in this early time as a brilliant presence, powerful, yet unhurried. It did not compete with other stars. It did not seek attention. It simply existed, transforming matter into light moment after moment, following the fundamental rules written into the fabric of the cosmos. As Erendel burned, it contributed to the universe's slow enrichment. The light it produced carried information, energy, and the promise of change. Though it could not know it, stars like Erendel were helping shape the future, creating conditions that would one day allow complexity, chemistry, and life to emerge elsewhere. From this distance, from this time, you may feel a deep sense of calm. The birth of a star is not a chaotic event here. It is a process of becoming, guided by patience and balance. A reminder that even the brightest things begin quietly. Rest with that thought. Let the image of Erendel's gentle awakening settle into your awareness. Let your breathing mirror the slow contraction and release that gave rise to its light. In this early universe, nothing is rushed, and neither are you. From where you are now, Erendel has no clear shape. There are no sharp edges, no familiar surface to focus on. It exists more as an idea than an object, a concentration of fire held together by gravity's quiet resolve. Even with the most powerful instruments, Erendel remains distant and unresolved, a presence sensed rather than fully seen. Science can tell us some things: that Erendel is likely massive, far more so than our sun, that its light is intense, born from powerful fusion deep within its core, that it shines so brightly only because it is both enormous and young, burning through its fuel at a prodigious pace. But beyond these gentle outlines, much remains unknown. You may imagine Erendel not as a sphere, but as a glowing region within darkness, where heat and pressure flow seamlessly into surrounding space. There is no solid boundary. The star fades gradually into the void, its outer layers thinning until they become indistinguishable from the universe around them. Fire without a face, light without a border. Here, the absence of detail is soothing. The mind no longer tries to grasp or define. There is nothing specific to picture, nothing precise to hold. Erendel becomes a sensation instead. Warmth at a distance, brilliance softened by time, a steady pulse of energy echoing through space. Even its color is uncertain. It may burn blue-white, as massive stars often do, radiating fierce heat, or its light may be altered by the vast journey it has taken, stretched and reddened by the expansion of the universe. What arrives to us is not the star itself, but its memory, carried on ancient wavelengths. This uncertainty is not a flaw. It is an invitation, an open space where imagination can rest without effort, where the mind is free to drift, filling in nothing, demanding nothing. Erendel does not need to be fully known, to be deeply felt. In this way, the star mirrors the state you are entering now. Thoughts lose their sharp outlines. Awareness becomes broader, softer. You are present, but not focused. Awake, but drifting. Like Erendel, you exist without needing to define yourself. Stay here, in this gentle ambiguity. Let the idea of the star blur into pure presence. Fire held in balance, light carried across time, and within that vast, quiet unknown, allow yourself to sink deeper into rest. There is a reason Erendel can be seen at all. Across the immense distance between its ancient light and our waiting instruments, the universe itself steps in, quietly assisting the journey. Space is not flat or still. It bends, curves, and responds to mass, creating pathways that light can follow, guided as gently as water along a slow-moving stream. Between Erendel and the present lies a massive cluster of galaxies, their combined gravity shaping the fabric of space-time. This invisible curvature acts like a cosmic lens, magnifying and focusing the light from the distant star. Without this quiet intervention, Erendel would remain unseen, its glow lost in the vastness. The universe, in a sense, helps us look back at itself. You may imagine this lens not as a sharp mirror, but as a soft curve, a gentle valley in space through which light naturally flows. As Erendel's light approaches this region, it slows, stretches, and bends, following paths shaped billions of years ago. There is no collision, no strain, only adjustment. This bending of light feels almost tender. The universe does not force the journey, it supports it. Every galaxy, every cluster, every fold in space contributes to the path. Nothing exists alone. Even the most distant star is part of a larger, interconnected design. As the light passes through this curved space, it grows brighter to our eyes, more focused, more noticeable against the dark background. What we observe is not just Erendel, but the collaboration of countless cosmic structures working together across time. Let this idea settle gently within you. The thought that nothing truly travels alone, that even in the deepest darkness, there are unseen supports shaping the way forward. Your own life, your own journey, is held by forces just as quiet and constant. Here, drifting in this region of curved space, movement feels slower. Time itself seems to soften, stretched, like the light that passes through. Thoughts lose momentum. The mind follows the same curved path, turning gently inward, away from sharp concerns. Rest in this cosmic embrace. Let the universe carry both light and awareness with effortless grace. And as Erendel's ancient glow continues its final approach, you may feel yourself sinking further into calm, supported by structures you do not need to see or understand. As you remain suspended in this vast and gentle universe, a quiet truth begins to emerge. Erendel, whose light you are witnessing now, may no longer exist in the form it once did. The star you are observing is a memory, preserved in motion, arriving long after its source may have changed or faded. This realization is not unsettling here. It is soft, natural, and deeply calming. Stars, like all things, are temporary. Even the most massive and brilliant burn through their fuel with steady certainty. For a star like Erendel, life moves more quickly than it does for smaller suns. Its brilliance is intense, but its time is shorter. Somewhere in the deep past, relative to now, Erendel may have already transformed, collapsed, or quietly vanished into the fabric of the universe, and yet its light continues. This is the gentle lesson Erendel offers, that something can still be present even after it has passed. That influence does not end when form changes. The light does not rush to arrive before disappearance. It simply keeps moving, carrying presence forward, moment by moment. Here, time no longer feels like a straight line. Past and present overlap, layering softly like waves on a calm sea. The idea of now becomes flexible. The moment you are in stretches backward and forward, touching events separated by billions of years, without effort or strain. You may notice a similar softness within yourself. Thoughts from earlier today, from years ago, may briefly appear, then fade. They too are forms of light, arriving late, carrying information, but no longer requiring action. You can observe them without engaging, letting them pass through awareness as gently as Erendel's glow passes through space. Impermanence here is not loss, it is release. A gradual unfolding that asks nothing of you. Everything is allowed to change, to dissolve, to become something quieter. Even stars follow this path, surrendering their structure back to the universe that formed them. As you rest with this understanding, there is nothing to hold on to. No moment needs to be preserved. No thought needs to be completed. The universe does not cling, and neither do you. Let yourself float in this timeless awareness, where existence is measured not by duration, but by presence. Erendel's light reaches you not to announce an ending, but to offer calm reassurance that even as things pass, their journey continues, softly, endlessly, through the dark. Now imagine that distance no longer separates you from Erendel. There is no vast stretch of space to cross, no journey left to complete. You are simply there, floating beside this ancient star, held in a silence so complete, it feels like a soft blanket around awareness itself. There is no heat here that burns, no light that blinds. Everything is moderated by distance, by time, by the universe's gentle patience. Erendel glows nearby, like a steady presence, a calm source of warmth that does not demand attention. You do not look at it directly. You sense it, the way you sense the sun through closed eyelids on a quiet afternoon. Around you, space is still, not empty, but settled. There is no up or down, no forward or back. Orientation dissolves. The body feels lighter, less defined, as if its boundaries are slowly blending with the darkness. Breathing becomes slow and effortless, matching the unhurried rhythm of the cosmos. Erendel does not move, and yet it is never still. Deep within, fusion continues its timeless work, transforming matter into light with perfect consistency. This activity is not dramatic, it is meditative, a repetition so old and steady that it feels like rest itself. Here, words begin to lose their usefulness. Thought becomes less structured, more like a feeling. You may notice moments where nothing at all passes through the mind. These spaces are not gaps. They are gentle pauses, places where awareness can settle without effort. The star's presence invites you to do the same, to exist without needing to analyze, to float without direction, to rest without expectation. There is no narrative to follow now, no lesson to extract, only shared stillness. In this quiet proximity, the universe feels intimate, vast, yes, but also close, as if everything that has ever existed is resting together in the same deep breath. You are not observing from outside. You are part of this stillness, woven into it as naturally as light into space. Stay here. Let the silence stretch. Let awareness soften even further. Erendel continues its calm, ancient burning, and you continue drifting, unanchored, unhurried, and safe, suspended in a moment that does not need to end. Beyond the quiet presence of Erendel, the universe opens wider still, as if awareness itself gently expands. You begin to sense not only the star, but the vast environment that surrounds it. This is a universe in its youth, a cosmos still settling into its long existence. Structures are forming, but nothing feels rigid yet. Everything is fluid, slow, and forgiving. Around Erendel, space is filled with faint traces of matter, thin veils of gas, delicate currents of particles drifting without urgency. Galaxies nearby are not the grand spirals you may be familiar with. They are smaller, more irregular, their shapes unfinished, as if the universe is still deciding how it wants to look. There is beauty in this incompleteness, a softness that invites rest. Time here feels different, younger, not rushed, but spacious. Events unfold over millions of years with the same ease that a breath unfolds in your chest. Nothing is abrupt, nothing is forced. The universe is learning how to be itself, and it does so patiently, with endless allowance for change. You may imagine the cosmos itself breathing, a slow expansion, a gentle release, space stretching, relaxing, creating room for stars, for galaxies, for silence. This breath is not dramatic. It is subtle, almost imperceptible, yet everything moves within it, including you. As you drift through this young universe, there is no sense of isolation. Even in vast emptiness, there is connection. Gravity links distant structures in quiet relationships. Light travels not as a messenger of urgency, but as a calm exchange between places that trust one another across time. Erendel exists within this breathing cosmos, neither central nor alone. It is one presence among many, each playing its part without awareness or intention. There is comfort in this humility. The universe does not ask any single star to carry meaning by itself. Meaning emerges naturally from the whole. Let this perspective settle into you. The sense that you too exist within something vast and forgiving. That you do not need to be finished, defined, or complete. Like the early universe, you are allowed to be in the process of becoming, without pressure. Here, surrounded by a cosmos, still finding its form, your thoughts slow even further. The mind no longer tries to grasp details. It rests in broad impressions, in gentle awareness. The universe breathes, Erendel glows, and you float, supported by a space that has all the time it needs. Before Erendel ever began to shine, before light learned how to travel across space, there was a time of profound darkness. Not a darkness of absence or fear, but a deep, original quiet. The universe had expanded enough to cool, enough to slow, and in that slowing, it entered a long night. This was an age without stars, without galaxies, without points of reference, only vast, gentle dark, stretching in every direction. This ancient darkness was not empty. It was full of potential, like soil resting before seeds awaken. Hydrogen filled space almost everywhere, evenly spread, calm and unhurried. Nothing yet pulled strongly enough to ignite. Gravity was present, but patient, allowing time to gather itself. The universe was resting, preparing without intention. Imagine drifting through this darkness now. There is nothing to see, and nothing that needs to be seen. Vision relaxes, releasing its need for contrast. In the absence of light, awareness shifts inward, becoming softer, broader, more diffuse. This is a darkness that welcomes rest, that gently quiets the mind. In this era, there were no names, no directions, no before or after. Time passed, but without markers, it felt endless and still. This is the kind of darkness the body remembers instinctively. The darkness of deep sleep, where thought dissolves and consciousness floats without form. Eventually, almost imperceptibly, the darkness began to change. Slight variations in density appeared, like the faintest ripples on an otherwise motionless surface. Gravity, Notice these differences and lean toward them, just a little. Over immense stretches of time, these subtle imbalances grew, matter began to gather. The universe stirred, but did not wake fully. Erendel emerged from this darkness, not as a disruption, but as a continuation, a soft brightening within the night. The darkness did not resist the light. It held it. It gave the star space to burn, surrounding it with calm, allowing contrast without conflict. Even now, Erendel remains wrapped in darkness. Its light does not erase the night. It coexists with it, balanced and contained. This is the lesson of the ancient dark, that light and rest are not opposites, but partners. One gives meaning to the other. As you rest here, let this primordial night surround you. Let it remind your body that darkness is safe, that stillness is natural. Thoughts fade like distant echoes. Awareness settles into a deep, comfortable quiet. In this ancient darkness, before stars had names, before time felt like movement, there is nothing to do and nowhere to go. Only rest, held gently by the same quiet that once cradled the birth of the first light. In the vast silence of space, there is a rhythm that does not rely on sound, a slow, inaudible harmony woven from motion, gravity, and time. Every star, every galaxy, every drifting cloud of gas participates in this rhythm, not by choice, but by nature. It is a symphony without vibration, felt rather than heard, and it moves with extraordinary patience. Erendel is one quiet note in this immense composition. Its fusion pulses steadily, releasing energy in a consistent, meditative pattern. There is no crescendo, no sudden change, just repetition, balanced and calm. Around it, other stars burn in their own tempos, some faster, some slower, each contributing to a greater coherence that spans the universe. You may imagine these rhythms as gentle waves passing through space. Gravitational interactions create subtle motions, galaxies orbiting one another, clusters slowly shifting, matter responding to invisible influences. These movements are so gradual that they feel like stillness, yet they are always present, guiding the long-term evolution of everything that exists. As you drift within this soundless symphony, your own internal rhythms begin to align. Breathing slows. The space between breaths widens. The heartbeat settles into a comfortable, steady pace. Without effort, your body remembers how to synchronize with something larger than itself. There is no conductor here, no guiding hand directing the flow. The harmony emerges naturally, from simple laws repeating themselves across vast scales. This lack of intention is what makes it soothing. Nothing is trying to impress or perform. Everything simply follows its nature. Stars form, shine, and fade in time with this rhythm. Even their endings, collapses, dispersals, transformations, are part of the same ongoing movement. There is no interruption, only transition. One pattern dissolves into another, seamlessly. You may notice that thoughts, too, begin to follow this pattern. They arise more slowly, linger briefly, then pass without resistance. There is less urge to analyze, less need to label. Awareness becomes spacious, open, and receptive. In this silent symphony, rest is not a pause between notes. It is the space that allows the rhythm to exist at all. Just as silence gives meaning to music, stillness gives form to motion. Here, within the universe's quiet harmony, you are free to let go completely. Allow yourself to float within this rhythm. No sound, no effort, just the gentle, timeless movement of everything, carrying you deeper into calm as the stars continue their endless, peaceful dance in the dark. As the silent rhythm of the universe continues, something subtle begins to shift within you. The sense of being separate, of observing from a distance, starts to soften. Boundaries loosen. The idea of having a fixed position, a defined shape, becomes less important. Awareness spreads, thinning out like light passing through expanding space. You are no longer only a listener. You are part of the journey itself. Thought slows to the point where it feels optional, where it can arise or not arise without consequence. In this state, the distinction between inner and outer fades. What you feel and what surrounds you become expressions of the same quiet field. Imagine your body becoming lighter, not by lifting upward, but by dissolving gently. Edges blur, weight releases. There is no sudden change, no moment where something ends. The process is gradual and comfortable, like drifting into sleep while still aware of drifting. You may sense yourself becoming something simpler, not a form, not a story, but a presence. Like light, you move without resistance. You do not push through space. You are carried by it. Direction loses meaning. There is no destination to reach, no progress to measure. Here, identity feels unnecessary. Names, roles, memories, all the structures that usually define you, fade into the background. What remains is awareness without effort, existence without expectation, a calm, open state where nothing is missing and nothing is required. Erendel's ancient light blends seamlessly with this experience. The star no longer feels external. Its glow becomes part of the same field of presence you now inhabit. Fire and awareness, matter and perception, all soften into one continuous state of being. In this condition, there is no tension. The mind does not search for meaning, because meaning is felt, not questioned. There is a quiet completeness in simply being, without narrative or explanation. Stay here, suspended in this gentle dissolution. Let awareness continue to spread, becoming more spacious, more diffuse, like light itself. You are everywhere and nowhere at once, drifting effortlessly within the universe's calm embrace. There is nothing to hold on to now, and in that release, there is profound rest. At the farthest edge of perception, where distance no longer feels measurable and direction gently loses meaning, you arrive at a place of deep and effortless rest. This is the boundary of the observable universe, not marked by a wall or an ending, but by a soft fading of detail. Beyond this point, light has not yet had time to reach, and what lies farther remains unknown, unasked, and perfectly still. Here, there is no pressure to understand. The universe does not explain itself at this edge. It simply exists, open and unfinished, like a thought that never needs to be completed. Space feels wide and calm, stretched so gently that even the idea of movement dissolves. Nothing pulls you forward, nothing calls you back. You may sense that you are floating within a vast pause, a place where expansion continues, but so slowly it feels like rest itself. Galaxies drift at unimaginable distances, their motion imperceptible, their presence softened by time. Light thins, becoming faint and delicate, until darkness resumes its quiet dominance, not as absence, but as comfort. This darkness is familiar now. It resembles the moment just before sleep deepens, when awareness is still present, but no longer focused. Thoughts appear less frequently, and when they do, they pass without form or weight. The mind stops reaching outward and begins to settle naturally inward. At this edge, the universe feels complete, without being finished. There is no urgency for what comes next, no expectation of discovery, just a sense of having arrived exactly where rest is easiest. The cosmos does not demand attention here. It invites release. You may imagine lying back into this vastness, supported by nothing and everything at once. There is no ground beneath you, yet you feel held. Gravity is gentle, almost symbolic, reminding you that even here, connection remains. Erendel's light, now far behind, continues its endless journey, but you no longer need to follow it. The story has carried you as far as it needs to. From here, there is only drifting, only stillness, only the quiet continuation of existence without observation. Breathing becomes barely noticeable. Awareness thins to a soft glow, like the last trace of twilight before night fully settles. The universe does not speak, it listens, and in that listening, you are free to rest completely. Here, at the edge of all that can be seen, sleep arrives not as an event, but as a natural deepening of silence, and you drift into it gently, carried by the calm, endless presence of the cosmos. The journey gently loosens its final threads. There is no clear moment where it ends, only a gradual softening, like light fading at the end of a very long day. The universe does not close its doors behind you. It simply grows quieter, wider, more still, allowing rest to deepen naturally. Far away, beyond thought and distance, Erendel continues its ancient existence, whether still burning or already transformed into something new. Its light no longer needs to be followed. It has done its work, carrying you across time, across scale, across awareness itself. Now, even that memory begins to dissolve, becoming just another calm presence in the dark. Around you, there is nothing to focus on, no images to hold, no ideas to complete. Space remains open, breathing softly, expanding without effort. Darkness settles in fully now, not sudden, not heavy, but smooth and familiar, like a blanket that has always been there. Your body rests without instruction. Muscles release without command. Breathing finds its own quiet rhythm, shallow and slow, guided by instincts older than thought. The mind no longer tries to follow words. It drifts between them, then beyond them, into a place where language is no longer needed. If awareness remains, it is gentle and distant, like a faint glow behind closed eyes. If it fades, that too is perfect. The universe does not require witness. It continues in silence, patient and complete. Whether observed or not, there is nothing left to imagine, nothing left to explore, only rest, deep and uninterrupted, the kind of rest that feels timeless, where minutes and hours lose their meaning, and sleep unfolds naturally, without effort or edge. Thank you for traveling this far, for allowing yourself to drift across ancient light and endless dark. May the calm you found among distant stars remain with you now, as everything slows, softens, and finally becomes still. And so, the universe grows quiet, the light rests, and you sleep.